Yes, there will be spoilers, so if you have not finished the season, you might not want to watch this video. But if you have, please join into this conversation. Okay, so our main characters. We have Sabrina, Karen, Danny, and Andy. Those are the four women who have formed this sisterhood, this friendship. According to the show, they've been friends since college, some longer. And that is their tribe. They go to each other. It's pretty much the black version of Sex in the City. I'm sorry. Well, technically, Girlfriends was Sex in the City. So it's like, you know, a new generation Girlfriends, pretty much. But what I've come to realize is, as with any group of friends that are more than two people, there are always two friends who are the closest. That would be Karen and Andy. And it's funny because Danny, who is the funny friend, and if you guys watched a vlog that I did a couple weeks ago, it was about the fun friend. I actually mentioned Danny and how I feel like they don't take her seriously in the show because she is the funny friend, because she's the fun friend, she's the partier, the going out, and you know, she drinks and she smokes and she always says very inappropriate stuff at the worst time, but she's the fun-loving friend who's going to have your back and ride or die for you no matter what. Danny is the one who actually points out that Karen and Andy keep things from the rest of the group because they have a closer friendship than everybody else. But let me break down pretty much the storyline of each character. So we have Sabrina. Sabrina is a manager at a bank. Her love interest is Calvin. He was adopted by two gay men. So Sabrina's issue is that Calvin has a lot of gay tendencies. So although he keeps telling her he is straight and he is very much into her, there are certain things that he does, certain underwear. Like I think one time there was, you know, they had a date and they were about to have sex and he had like lace men underwear on and she was like, the fuck is going on? So situations like that kind of caused an issue for them, and it came to the point where he had enough because he was like, yo, I'm telling you, I am straight, I want to be with you, and yet you keep trying to find ways for me to be gay. Like it went to the point that she had her gay friend who is her co-worker, Maurice, who was hilarious. Like I loved scenes with Maurice. Like he had me dying. Like she got Maurice involved to test to see if Calvin was gay, and at one point he got her back. Long story short, towards the end of the season, she started to believe him, and you know, we'll see what's to come of season 2 of Sabrina and Calvin. Now, moving on to Danny. Danny, who is actually my favorite character, and I relate a lot to her. She is the funny friend. She's hilarious. She is pretty much the comic relief of the show. Of course, every Tyler Perry show, and even when it tries to be serious, has to have that one character that is hilarious. Danny works at the airport. She actually works with Karen's on-again, off-again boyfriend, and they literally hilarious. Like she's always watching him. She's always making sure that he's not messing up. And I'll get more into that when we get to Karen's story. And so Danny, like I said, has always been, you know, the funny friend, and like, you know, she's never really had a relationship. You got all her friends that are in and out of relationships, and yet she's always the single one. So Danny finally finds a guy who is interested in her, and he happens to be a white man. She keeps calling him white boy when she describes him to her friends, you know, the white boy, the cowboy. And he is blowing up her phone. He's always calling her. He's always texting her. He's always wanting to come over and see her. And she's like, ew, can you stop? I don't like that. Give me my space. Like, you're calling me too much. You're always texting me. Don't do this. Don't call me like that. Don't text me so much. So he stops. And she gets pissed. Like, pissed that he stops. And why that's so funny to me is because that's how we women are. You know what I mean? Like, we hate when guys are blowing up our phone and always texting us and always calling us and always checking up on us and seeing how we're doing. And then we tell them to stop, and then they stop. And then we get mad. not realizing we told him to stop. You told him not to call you, so he stopped calling you. He really liked her. But, of course, towards the end, they made up. And I can't wait to see how the dynamic of their relationship is in season 2. Hopefully, there is a season 2. Karen is a hairdresser, hair salon owner. She owns a salon. She has a couple workers. So Karen and Zach have been on and off for years. And he's been to jail. He's cheated. He, doesn't have as good of a job as Karen does. He's working at the airport as transport. Karen just eventually, has had enough. So she kicks him out. They break up. One of the many times in the season. They break up. She ends up meeting a pastor who is on his way of, divorcing his wife. And long story short, the wife ends up killing herself in Karen's shop because she found out that, they were dating. And she's like, don't take him from me. I don't know what I'll do without him. And ends up killing herself. And then that just opens an extreme can of worms, because then her mom starts, pretty much terrorizing Karen. And, they end the season with Karen, the wife's brother somehow broke into Karen's apartment with a knife, pretty much going to kill her, for the fact that they're all blaming, her entire family blames Karen for the wife killing herself. They're saying, oh, you were cheating with her husband, and you were having an affair with the husband, and that's why she killed herself, not realizing that they were going to get divorced regardless. But I don't want to give too much away. I'm giving the whole thing away, whatever. But what I think was funny is at the end of the season, the guy is in her apartment and he chases her into the room, and who comes to the rescue? Zach. Zach jumps in, he wrestles the guy, he gets stabbed. Karen has a gun, pop, 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 shoots the guy. Karen's mom comes out of nowhere and, kind of just takes care of it. While Zach and Karen run to the hospital because Zach is, now wounded from saving Karen's life. I'm telling you, it's always the ones that, you be like, you ain't shit. And then they come through and, So that'll be interesting to see how that goes. I personally would love to see Karen and Zach work it out, only because I feel like some guys do genuinely try. And you can tell that he cares. I am not going to justify his cheating because, it is what it is. I don't know their relationship. But what I will say is the character development of Zach has grown. You can tell that, he really does want to try to make things work with Karen. So I do hope next season it's Karen and Zach. But I feel like Karen is going to end up going with the married guy. I don't even remember his name. He don't matter. He get on my nerve anyway. And I feel like Zach is going to end up moving on. And I think that's going to bother Karen. So we'll see. Now, the last friend, but the last sisterhood group member, Andy. Andy was the character that got on my nerves the most. Okay, and I low-key feel like she was the main character. Andy's story is that she is, technically if you're single and the person's married, are you the one having the affair? Whatever. Andy's messing with a married man. Full-blown married, and she know he's married. But in the beginning, it started with, they've been dating for about 6 months. He's supposed to leave his wife. You know the story. We've all heard it. I'm going to leave my wife. I'm going to leave my wife. I just, the kids and, this and this and that. Then, the wife ends up going to Andy. Andy's also a lawyer. Using her firm to file for divorce. And then, eventually it comes out that Andy is the mistress and, that's who's having the affair. Now this wife turns out to be crazy and that this was all pretty much a setup, that she knew the whole time that Andy was the other woman, and she went to the firm on, to that specific firm on purpose to kind of, mess with her head. A lot happened with that story. I'm not going to dive into everything. I will say that the wife ends up, showing a little craziness, tries to fight the husband. And at one point she took his mom's ashes and put it in the gas tank. That was really twisted. And then jumps on his back and they're fighting. And then somehow she lands over the wall down in the parking garage onto a car. Have to call an ambulance. She's in the hospital. And she's telling, people that he beat her. And that's what he did to her. And that's why she's in the hospital. But what she does tell Andy, that we end up realizing towards the end, is that something is up with Gary. So, which you can kind of tell during the season that something was up with Gary, because he gets really upset. He's very jealous. He didn't like anytime Andy was talking to another guy. He was always popping up random places. There was a time where Andy was meeting up with another lawyer who ended up, it was a good thing he showed up, because the guy tried to pretty much rape her. But Gary kind of popped up and beat the man up, but really, really, really beat him up. And it's kind of whoa, where did that come from? What happened? Gary also is a construction. He owns whatever type of company he has. It's the company that's always a disguise for when you are cleaning money laundering. But yeah, towards the end, Andy, which I really had to question her being a lawyer. Gary ends up taking her on a ride and shows her this amazing house and tells her that the house is for them, but they're 2 hours away from the city. And then she has a flashback to when she went to go see the wife who was in the hospital. And the wife tells Andy that he's dangerous, and what he's going to do is he's going to isolate you from all of your friends, and pretty much that is his way of taking control of you. He'll control your money. He'll control where you go. He'll control what you wear, because he isolates you from all your friends. And while she is reminiscing this, Gary's still talking to her, and she's like, no, I don't want this. I'm a city girl. We're in the middle of nowhere. And Gary's getting frustrated because he was like, no, I bought this house for us, and we're going to live here, and you can make new friends and a new life and a fresh start and a new beginning. And Andy's like, I don't want no new beginning. I want the life that I had. And then all of a sudden, whoop, whoop, FBI. What the hell? Who was FBI? Come to find out, they have been looking for Gary for months, and they didn't even tell that part. They just start to arrest him, and they're yelling, and they're telling them to get hands on your head, on your knees, and Andy's just like, oh my god, what's happening, baby, oh my god, baby. And I'm like, bitch, ain't you a lawyer? Shouldn't you step up and be like, no, I'm an attorney, what is this about? Oh my god, baby, no, baby, what's going on, girl, I'm gonna need you to get it together. For me, you're doing the most. What's happening? I can't figure out what's happening because you're yelling. She one of the people that if I was there in real life, I'd have been like, stop. Hold it together. Be a strong black woman. But anyway, then they seize his car. They arrest him. And the FBI agent's like, well, will you help me? And she's like, I don't know if I can help you. I don't know anything. And he was like, well, I sure hope them heels is comfortable, because it's a long walk back home. And I hope you have somewhere to stay, because we seized your apartment, and we seized all your money, and we seizing his car. She's like, well, can I get my phone out the car? He was like, nope, that's ours too. Wait a minute. Can y'all do that? They're not married. The apartment is in her name. And it's her phone. And you took all her money out of her account? I will understand that one account where he deposited money. But, and maybe, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that because they're not married, the police don't have the right to take all of her money or her apartment or her belongings. They could take all his stuff, but I don't think they could take her stuff. If I have any FBI friends that want to correct me, please do so. But anyway, so yeah, it makes for a very interesting season 2 opener. And I will say, out of the 4 ladies, my personal favorite was Danny. Danny had, to me, she was a dynamic character because she was funny, but she was also very real. And like I said, I relate to her because in my friend group, I am the funny friend. So I can relate to the not always being taken seriously. But I love that she found love. I mean, she found it, almost sabotaged it, but got it back. So hopefully in season 2 and further, she could keep it going. But we'll see. Sabrina and Calvin have somehow rekindled, their relationship. And Maurice is my boy. Maurice and, of course, Danny don't get along, and those are my 2 favorite characters. Let's see. Karen and Zach and the preacher man, well, the widow. I think that's what they call the guy. Anyway, we'll see what happens with them. And, of course, Andy. Hopefully she make it home. Child, I took them shoes off. Because them heels. And it was a dirt road. But anyway, that was my recap debrief of Sistas, Tyler Perry's show on BET, season 1. I hope that there will be renewing for season 2. I look forward to seeing what happens and how the drama continues to unfold. And yeah, if you haven't watched it, if you have watched it and you disagree or agree with anything I'm saying, please comment below. I will put in the description box the times, when it aired and the name of it and everything like that. But it was a good show. Like I said, if you can get past the acting, it was very soap opera-ish. But maybe that's what Tyler Perry was going for. I don't know. But I know that he does love to give new and up-and-coming actors a chance. So it could be that these were new actors. I've never seen them before. I did actually notice that the character who played Andy, she was also on an episode of Black as Fuck. So I was like, actually, I didn't even recognize that. It was my boyfriend who was like, no, that's Andy. And I'm like, what? That's Andy? But anyway, yeah. Great show. I like Sisters. So we'll see what's to come of it. Okay. In the meantime, in between time, make sure you like and comment, but most of all, subscribe. Ow.